Well, let's get it. 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Victory Monday. That's right. A Victory Monday here on 580 Sports Talk. We are back from the weekend. Your reward for working through a Monday is 3 hours of sports talk here on the Sports Voice of Kansas. 580 WIBW FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook video stream, WIBW News. However, wherever, whenever you're joining the program today, thanks so much for being a part of 580 Sports Talk. My name is Dan Lucero. Expecting Spencer Dupuis to be along in a little bit. Brendan Dworzynski might pop his head in today as well. It is a Victory Monday for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're so back. They're all the way back. Look, I know they don't throw parades, hang banners, size rings for a 3-3 record, for a win in week 6. You don't want to get too far out over your skis. But that team you saw last night at Arrowhead Stadium, that team without its starting left tackle and still for the 6th and final time this season, fingers crossed, without its best offensive weapon outside of their quarterback, that team can win another Super Bowl. And if you were curious, if you were skeptical, if you were cynical, you saw a Kansas City Chiefs team on Sunday night that can go out and win another Lombardi. You saw how good they can be when the chips are down. Those were the big game Kansas City Chiefs in a 30-17 win over the Detroit Lions. We're going to cover it all today, talk about the good, the bad, and the Butker from Sunday. It is a little bit of a cheap shot, right? I mean, he only missed one kick. All the rest of his kicks were really good, but still, man, that missed kick. Woof, woof. Anyway, that was unwelcome, but just about everything that happened after that was pretty great for the Kansas City Chiefs last night. And not only are they obviously good again, great again, Super Bowl caliber again, they're fun again. And it's been too long. Certainly it was not something that we could say last year. But you're damn right, the Kansas City Chiefs are fun again. So we're going to talk all about it on today's program. Everything from the game, everything we saw, everything you guys want to talk about. Always want to hear from you Chiefs fans out there on a Victory Monday today as the Chiefs not only defeat the team that had come in as maybe the hottest team in the NFL, but beat them by 2 scores and hold an offense that had averaged over 40 per in their last 4 games to 17 points. It was an impressive performance defensively. Some pretty important guys walked the walk last night. Offensively, they're fun again, man. Like, this really is feeling like the early years of the Mahomes era, where if they don't score, it's because they screwed up, not because of anything the defense can do. And Andy Reid is back to his old tricks of making sure he gets the scheme he wants, he gets the formations he wants, he gets to call the plays he wants, and he picked at the Lions' biggest weakness last night. And no, it wasn't their injury-depleted secondary. It was a fascinating game plan for the Chiefs, and it shows the pathway forward to success, I think, against some other teams that they're going to play later on this season. Lots of Chiefs to get to on the program today. We're going to talk some college football on the show as well today. It was a Victory Monday for you K-State fans out there. Cats win big over TCU. You know one way you can avoid losing a close game? Just lead by 3 scores with a minute left. No losing that one. K-State gets a win, and how cool was it that of all the guys to stand up and be counted and make the winning play and put the team on their back a little bit by making winning plays on the football? It was Topeka and Hayden High's own Des Purnell, the defensive player of the week in the Big 12 Conference. Chris Kleiman campaigned for him. I don't really think he needed to. I think he was probably going to win it anyway. But that's your defensive player of the week in the Big 12, Des Purnell. Huge game. And the rest of the Cats followed that senior's lead. And I saw something from Avery Johnson yesterday. Even though it didn't result in even a scoring drive, I saw something from Avery Johnson I've been dying to see. So we'll talk about that. Lots of good from that K-State win, 41-28, I think it was. I know TCU scored a late touchdown. Yeah, it was 41-28 was the final score over TCU. We'll also talk a little about KU's game in Lubbock. There's just not a lot to say. Texas Tech is the best team in the Big 12, and they're one of the best teams in the country. And they've got $28 million worth of football team out there, and it looks like it. It looks like it. So that's the big takeaway from KU losing 42-17 at Texas Tech. It's that they lost to a team that's a lot better than they are, especially in the trenches. And it's happening to everybody Texas Tech has played so far. But we'll get into that some as well. Plus, big picture looks at week 6 in the NFL and week 7 in college football. We've had coach firings this weekend. We had our first NFL coaching firing today. Stunningly, it was not Mike McDaniel in Miami. We also had 3 college coaches bite the dust, including a coach that 16 days ago was the coach of the number 3 team in the country. Life comes at you fast. So lots of football on this Monday, lots of Chiefs on this Monday. We want to hear from you throughout this Monday on 580 Sports Talk. The text line is open, 785-272-9429. That is 785-272-9429. You can also jump in the live chat today on the YouTube channel. It's already on and popping in there. YouTube, 580 Sports Talk's the name of the channel. Go subscribe to that channel if you have not yet. Go subscribe to 580 Sports Talk. Doesn't cost you anything but a click. And hop on in the chat today. Say hello and interact with your fellow listeners as we go along on this Monday. A hello on this Monday to Paul. Mark H. is in. Vance is in. Andrew, hello. Christopher into the chat early as well today. Great to see you guys. Look forward to hearing from you and even more of you who hop in on that YouTube live chat as we go along today. Before we go any further, one more piece of business. It's week number 2 of the Fall Cash Contest at 580WIBW.com. We're giving away $2,000 every weekday. We did every weekday last week. We're going to do it every weekday this week. Every hour, be listening for your keyword. Go to 580WIBW.com, click on the contest link, enter the keyword, enter your info for that hour, and you'll be registered for a chance to win $2,000. We've got your keyword for the 3 o'clock hour on this Monday, and your keyword is moon. Moon, as in Chiefs fans are over the moon on this Victory Monday. M-O-O-N, moon. That is your keyword. The Fall Cash Contest continuing through Friday here on 580 WIBW, 580WIBW.com. Chiefs 30, Lions 17. You guys know we've been friends long enough how much I hate the term must win. I hate it. It's one of my least favorite terms. I think it's the most lazy term. You got to win every game, right? You want to win every game, right? Are there some games that it's okay to lose? Yes, but also absolutely not, right? Like the term must win. I hate it. I think it's lazy. The only games that are truly must win are like playoff games, Super Bowls, games in which your season ends if you don't win them. Those are the only consequences under which I am willing to say that a game is must win. And at that point, you need to say it's must win because it's implied because it's an elimination game. So I hate that term. I don't use that term. I avoid it as often as I can on this program. However, there are certainly spots in which it would behoove a team to win or not to lose. And if you want to say that's a must-win situation, I'm not going to stop you. I don't like the term, so I'll just say that it behooved the Chiefs to win last night. They did not want to fall to 2-4, 2 games back at Denver, 2.5 effectively back of the Chargers in the AFC West. Even with Rashee Rice set to come back next week, that's a tough hole to try and dig yourself out of, even with 11 games to go in a season. And you wanted to avoid the worst start for a Chiefs team since all the way back in 2015. And the Chiefs did it, and they didn't just do it. They did it convincingly, and they did it with no room for doubt against a team that was looking like it might have been the best in the NFL through the first 5 weeks, and certainly was the hottest team in the NFL coming into last night's game. You want to talk about being locked in? Watch the Chiefs last night, and that is what a locked-in football team looks like. No turnovers, no penalties, not a single one. 13 on Monday night in Jacksonville, 0 accepted penalties. Chris Jones hopped offsides on a play on Detroit's final meaningful drive of the game, and they declined the penalty because Laporta gained 8 or 9 yards on the catch. They declined the penalty. So no accepted penalties, but still, that's a 0 in the penalty department. No big coverage busts, no egregiously bad tackling, no crippling offensive mistakes. Look, it wasn't perfect. It never is. But it was the other team, in contrast to some of the early losses for the Chiefs this season, that made the critical mistakes. A critical play calling error and a dropped pass, both coming on 4th down, whereas the Chiefs gambled and won on their own early red zone 4th down, which, by the way, Sam McDowell had this in the Kansas City Star this morning. I couldn't believe it when I read it. The Chiefs have been in a similar situation as they were on their opening drive last night with Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback. I don't know how many times. 4th and 3 or more inside the 10-yard line. And every single time before last night, Andy Reid sent the field goal unit out. It's the first time he'd ever gone for it in that spot in the first half of a game. Every single other time in the first half, Andy Reid says, "You know what? Nah, I'll take the 3 points. Three's fine. It's early. A lot of game left. We'll take the 3." Last night, no. Shows you what they think of the Lions and shows you how important they think this ball game was. They went for it. They got it on the touchdown pass to Xavier Worthy, and they set a tone for the rest of the game. And the Chiefs did finally get the critical defensive stop to seal the game. When it was a 10-point game and the Lions had the ball after the Chiefs had gone up 27-17, we finally saw the Chiefs defense do the thing that they had not done in the 3 losses this season, get the 3rd down stop and force the other offense off the field, get the ball back in the hands of Patrick Mahomes. And I just want to prepare everybody. MVP number 3 is coming. I'm just telling you right now. I know everybody's having fun with Baker Mayfield as an MVP or Drake Mays, number 1 in the NFL in success rate as a quarterback. Maybe he's a stealthy MVP candidate. And there's always Josh Allen because he's terrific. Patrick Mahomes is the MVP of the NFL right now. And I think he's going to win his 3rd. And I said this, I called my shot back in training camp, if you recall. It's coming. He looks awesome. And the Chiefs finally got him the ball to go decide the game. And the Chiefs had that clock-milking drive that ended with the Butker field goal to make it 30-17. And you could have convinced me in that moment that it would have been more beneficial for the Chiefs to go for it there, because even if you don't get it, the Lions are out of all their timeouts. They still need to score twice. And if you do get it, then the game is beyond doubt, because at that point you take a 3-score lead instead of leaving it just a 2-score game. But they went out, they kicked the field goal, made it 30-17. But that was the offense putting the game away because the defense put them into a position to put the game away. And who was it? Well, it was Charles Omenihu who got the sack. But if you were watching the play, you know it was Chris Jones. It's always Chris Jones. It feels good to say that again. I haven't said that in a while. Haven't said that all season. But it's always Chris Jones. He's always there when you need him. He was there last night on that 3rd down. He forced Jared Goff into the waiting arms of Charles Omenihu for that 3rd down sack, made it so the Lions had no shot at picking up the 4th down, forced them into bringing the punt team on the field, and sealed the game. Think about what these first 6 games have been for these Chiefs, coming off of 3 consecutive AFC championships, coming off of 3 consecutive Super Bowl appearances. Think about these first 6 games. Think about the spotlight, the stage that the Chiefs found themselves on for every one of those first 6 games. Opener in prime time, exclusive broadcast window, Friday night in Brazil. The home opener was a Super Bowl rematch. Then they went on the road for Sunday night football. Then they're at home against the Ravens. That was the only game that, maybe wasn't anything more than hype. And obviously the Ravens now, their season is is all but lost as they drop to 1-5. But think of the hype going into that game. Think of these stakes. Think of how important that game was. Then Monday Night Football on the road, then Sunday Night Football at home. That is 6 monster games to start your season. Every single one of those games, you could feel the weight of it. You could feel the substance of every single one of those games. And the stakes last night, you either win or you slip to your worst start since 2015, were significant. And the Chiefs rose to the occasion. And how many times in the Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid era have we seen the Chiefs do exactly this? Play their best football when the situation calls for it. Now, typically, October has not been the situation that has called for it. We've seen Chiefs teams play with their food a little bit. They could afford to do it when they had way more talent than everybody else. But this was not a schedule where they could afford to play with their food. And they kind of did a little bit in week 1. And they kind of did a little bit against Jacksonville. There was none of that last night. They were dialed from the start of the game. And look, all the credit in the world to Detroit. They came out. They had a really nice opening drive. They said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run it early. We're going to run it often. We're going to force the Chiefs to keep their base defense on the field. We're going to get into our play action stuff, find some space over the middle of the field. We are going to be the more physical team. We're going to take it right down the Chiefs' throats. And then they got to 4th and goal for the 1 and said, what if we ran a silly little trick play where we throw to our quarterback? What? I would be beside myself if I were a Lions fan over that call. I don't care that it looked cool. I don't care that it's one of those things that, it's a really arcane rule that they broke. It should have stood. Rule of cool, right? No, that's nonsense. They proved on that entire opening drive they could get a yard anytime they wanted it behind that offensive line, all those extra linemen and tight ends. And they get to 4th and goal from the 1, and they say, we're going to throw a pass to Jared Goff. A play they designed and ran all week in practice. Tony Dungy this morning, I don't know where he was doing his radio hit. Maybe it's with Dan Patrick. I don't know. Tony Dungy said he saw him running it in practice this week and just assumed they changed the rule that would have made it an illegal play. Because if they're practicing it like this, it must be legal, right? No, wrongo, illegal play. Cost them 4 points on that opening drive. And then the Chiefs walk it right back down the field on their 4th down and more than just 1 from further away than just 1. They said, yeah, we're going for it. We're not playing a field goal game tonight. We're not bringing field goals to a touchdown party. And they scored a touchdown. There was your statement of intent right there. There's where it was clear. The Chiefs were dialed. The Chiefs were in big game mode. And the Chiefs in big game mode, in case you needed the reminder, maybe the rest of the NFL did. Hell, maybe you did. But the Chiefs in big game mode, still scary as hell and still better than everybody else. How good was the offense last night? A couple of stats to share with you. Jesse Newell from The Athletic had this today in his piece. The Chiefs generated 11 explosive plays in the game. An explosive play, as defined by NFL's Next Gen Stats, is a 10-plus yard running play. So a run play for 10 or more yards, or a pass play for 15 or more yards. That's now back-to-back games that the Chiefs offense has had 10 or more explosive plays. In their previous 20 games, the Chiefs have only had 1 game like that. And that includes the playoffs. 20 games with only 1 game with 10 or more explosive plays. Back-to-back games now with 10 or more explosive plays. This stat, late last night, from Vahe Gregorian of the Star on X, it's the first time after the Chiefs hung a 30-burger last night that the Chiefs have scored 28-plus in 3 straight games since 2021, when they did it 7 times in a row. That's what I mean by restoring the feeling. That's why this feels different. This feels like it used to for the Chiefs offense, where they're going downhill on every drive, is what it feels like. And when they get in that mode, good luck, everyone else. And they got in that mode last night. Again, I want to mention, yes, without Rashee Rice, who returns on Sunday, but also without Josh Simmons. Jalen Moore comes in, and let me tell you something. I know it is tempting to look at the balance sheet for the Chiefs against the salary cap and think, boy, $15 million is a lot to pay for a swing tackle. And it is. Nobody else paying a swing tackle $15 million. Flip side, can you imagine if that had been Wanye Morris last night at left tackle? What that might have done for a Chiefs offense just starting to find its rhythm? Jalen Moore plugged in, and the Chiefs really didn't miss a beat. I know Moore got beat on the last drive of the game for a sack on third down. Okay, fine, whatever. He handled his business in emergency relief. That would not have happened last season. That was a better left tackle game, I think, than the Chiefs got at any point in the last 2 years. And that includes a Super Bowl winning year with Donovan Smith over there. That was better left tackle play than the Chiefs have gotten since Orlando Brown was in town, and it was from the backup. Okay, so that's what the Chiefs offense just did. And I know the Lions on defense, they're banged up. No Alan McNeil on the front line, that hurt. Obviously, their cornerbacks, they're running out just an array of cast-offs and bums at defensive back, at corner in particular. And their safeties I thought played pretty well. Brian Branch, he looks spry. After the game, he sure looks spry. We'll get to him in a second. But the Chiefs did whatever they wanted to do on offense. And really, since the second half of the Giants game, it has been that. They are doing whatever they want to do on offense. Doesn't matter the caliber of defense. Bring them. They're meat for this Chiefs offense. That's big game Chief mode. Typically, we don't see it this early. Typically, the Chiefs don't dig themselves an early season hole in playoff positioning, divisional standings, AFC standings. But big game Chiefs mode, always a delight. That was a fun one last night at Arrowhead. We'll get your reaction from the YouTube comments, from the text line, 785-272-9429. Matt Verderame, our NFL insider, joins us bottom of this hour. We've got more college football to get to, NFL to get to. What is wrong with you? Headlines, our typical Monday shenanigans. We're just getting started on this Victory Monday on 580 Sports Talk. 3:32 on 580 Sports Talk. Just getting started on this Victory Monday. Want to hear from you. Text lines open 785-272-9429. Can also get at me in the comments on our YouTube stream. 580 Sports Talk is on YouTube. We are streaming our video live every single show. Andrew says Brian Branch should get suspended 2 games, especially if Jalen Carter got, quote, suspended for spitting. It's a funny argument that Paul makes in response. By that suspension logic, the NFL could say that because the next game didn't snap the ball yet, then that could count as having served 1 game. So in case you missed it last night, maybe you turn off the TV as soon as the Chiefs started kneeling it out. You had to get to bed, whatever it was. A bit of a brawl that occurred at the end of the game. Patrick Mahomes offered a little sporting dap to Lions safety Brian Branch after the game. Branch blew him off. Okay, fine, sore loser. Juju Smith-Schuster didn't take kindly to that and came over and said, "Hey, man, don't snub 2-time MVP, 3-time champ." And Brian Branch proceeded to then bloody Juju's nose. And Juju chased him around the field, which I give him credit. Like, you're not going to open palm strike me, and I'm not going to try to get my lick back. I'm going to at least be seen trying to get my lick back. I'm not going to stand there and lick my wounds. Credit to Juju for trying to get his. And you know, cooler head prevailed. Guys got pulled apart. Nothing else got too crazy. Nobody swinging any helmets or anything like that, thankfully. Brian Branch has been fined 10 times in the last 2 seasons. So this is who this guy has always been. He can't help himself. He cannot help himself. He cannot regulate his own emotions. And if the fines aren't working, me personally, if I had the NFL reaching into my wallet 10 times in 2 years, that might cause me to have a little bit of introspection, especially if I was playing on a rookie contract. I'll be a little bit more introspective about the behavior I was exhibiting on the field. But obviously it's not working. It is time to suspend Brian Branch. The NFL should suspend him for a game. Dan Campbell, to his credit, and I think Dan Campbell doesn't encourage that kind of stuff. He sounded irate about it in his post-game press conference. I do think the NFL should suspend Brian Branch. 100%. Absolutely. No question in my mind they should suspend him for at least a game. For that, because the fines aren't working. The fines aren't teaching him a damn thing. So now you got to start taking away full game checks. You got to start sitting him on the sideline. And then for him to say after the game, well, I felt like the Chiefs were trying to bully me. Well, I guess it worked. Thank you for letting them know that it worked. Thank you for letting every team in the NFL know that blocking you is bullying. Juju got him pretty good with a not quite a blindside block, but definitely a big open field block. Juju did get him one good, and I understand you don't like that, but don't get behind a microphone. Well, they were bullying me. They were trying to bully me. They weren't trying, brother. You're out there throwing punches after the game. They didn't try. They did. They did bully you, and they bullied the rest of your teammates too. And if you can't be the team full of the guys who are going to bite kneecaps and then turn around and moan and complain after a game about them trying to bully you. Yeah, they didn't try, pal. They did. They did. Scoreboard. Matt Verderam joins us next, our NFL insider here on 580 Sports Talk. We are joined on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline by Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated, SI.com. He is our NFL insider on 580 Sports Talk and joins us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline every Monday at this time. Matt, most impressive thing about the Chiefs' victory last night over the Lions to you was what?
Oh, the defense after the first two drives. I didn't feel like it was in them, quite frankly, after watching the first two drives. It felt like Detroit was going to do whatever it wanted to do all night long. They had 10 points on those drives. And I thought the turning point of the game was when Detroit didn't pick up that fourth down. It was, look, it's a throw that Amon-Ra St. Brown probably is going to tell you should have caught. But the Chiefs got a lot of pressure, the low throw. From that point on, they outscored the Lions 24-7. They took it to them. I thought, 4.2 yards per play over the last 6 drives for Detroit, 7 points on 6 drives. I mean, that's an offense to come into the game, league best 35 and change a game. Last 4 weeks, all wins, 40.2 points per game. Look, the offense was terrific. I expected them to be with that secondary. They lived up to expectation. But I thought the defense, on a night where you knew they were going to have to really play well, I thought they answered the bell.
What in particular defensively do you think maybe changed, or which players do you think maybe made a bigger impact as that game went on that allowed the Chiefs to have that success on that side of the ball?
I thought the safeties, I thought Cook played really well. He made a couple of really big tackles. They brought Noah Williams in more and more as the game went on. That allowed for McDuffie to slide inside, Connor to go back to his safety role. Look, Connor's good as a safety, but he's not good in man coverage. He cannot do it. He's not built to do it, but he can play deep safety. And so when they did that, they made that adjustment. That helped. They stopped asking Bolton to cover Laporta. And look, that's not a slam on Nick Bolton. No, there's no linebacker in the NFL that's covering Laporta one-on-one. I mean, it's just not. You're asking someone to do something that they just flat out can't do. The other thing in this game, listen, I know that the day-to-day fans are going to look at the box score and say, oh, Chris Jones, $32 million a year, 1 tackle. Chris Jones dominated that game. If you watch that game, he was in the backfield over and over. And I mean, Detroit couldn't single block him. They couldn't double block him. The Sacramento had was completely because of Chris Jones. I thought, frankly, they just won more one-on-one. They did a good job against the run. They held Gibbs to 3 and change a carry. They held him under 100 yards rushing as a team. If you can do that to the Lions, you're probably going to win. And that's a heck of an effort.
Matt Verderam is our NFL insider here on 580 Sports Talk. Writes for Sports Illustrated, SI.com. Also has his own subscriber-only Patreon, the Matt Verderam Show, and appears on that football show on the KC Sports Network. Joining us here on 580 Sports Talk. Matt, the offense starting to feel like it used to feel back in the early part of this decade, where it feels like they're going downhill on every drive and they can kind of pick their final score. And there's a lot of reasons for it, but I think the reason I came away most impressed with last night was with the offensive line. Jalen Moore filling in at left tackle for Josh Simmons. That didn't miss a beat. Kingsley Suamataia appears to be getting better every week. How enthusiastic are you with the play of this offensive line? And do you think that this is a group that's continuing to get better and better each week?
I think the two teams you saw last night are going to have the 2 best offenses in football by the end of the year. I mean, the Chiefs have not played this well offensively, as you point out, really since 2022. The last time Mahomes won the MVP. And by the way, right now, if you did an MVP balloting, I bet you he's a minimum in the top 3, probably in the top 2. Their offensive line, like you knew what you're getting at a Humphrey and Smith. Taylor, when he's not taking penalties, is fine. The last 2 weeks, he hasn't taken penalties. Simmons has been awesome when he's played. Obviously, right now, personal issue. It's unclear what that is. Jalen Moore came in, and as you point out, like they did not help him a ton against Aiden Hudson. It was a lot of, hey, man, go figure it out. And he did. He did a nice job. That is about as tough of an assignment as you're going to have. He held his own. And Suamataia, I can't remember a player having a bigger transformation over the course of a month. I mean, early in the year, against the Eagles, against the Chargers, certainly in the preseason, he was getting smoked. I mean, it was, 3, 4, 5 times a game where he would just get cleanly beat. The last 4 games, he has been lights out. I can't think of one play where he's been beat. So Look, when you give Mahomes that kind of time and you have the weaponry that they do, you're going to score a lot of points. Now you're adding Rice back into it, who's the best weapon of all of them. They are going to score a lot of points if they continue to play like this up front.
We're joined by Matt Verder of Sports Illustrated here on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. And Matt, what did you think of, I know I was listening to your X Spaces last night at halftime. What did you think of the use of the run game in the second half? Because it seemed to, get a few chunk plays in there that were big at times.
Yeah, look, I thought Pacheco ran well. He ran hard. And then Kareem Hunt almost made Rocky Sin retire in real time on the field at the end of the game. That was, I can't remember the last time a Chiefs running back hit somebody that hard. But listen, I thought it was effective. As you point out during halftime, my thought was basically, look, I would just throw the ball. They're so beat up in the secondary. They can't get pressure on him. Just throw it. If the Lions can go off the field against them, hey, kudos to them. I don't think they can do it. And they pretty much did drop back and throw the ball. But when they ran, a lot more under center, they were I thought Pacheco ran downhill. And look, one thing that all these backs have to keep in mind, and Pacheco in particular, because really it's the most effective style he has, this is not an offensive line the last couple of years where you're trying to find a hole and a little bit of glimmer. These guys at times, especially inside, are just blowing people off the ball. Just, hey, man, get the handoff and go. You're going to pick up 4 or 5 yards behind this line. So I thought second half especially, Pacheco, there was no dancing. He was just downhill immediately. That's the way they I thought last night as a team, 112 yards, 3.9 yards a carry. It was effective. It wasn't overwhelming, but it was effective. And that's all the Chiefs need their run game. They don't need it to be Baltimore's run game. They just need it to be enough to keep you honest. And it was last night.
Pivoting to the rest of the NFL, we got 2 games tonight on Monday Night Football, but of the games that have been completed here in week number 6, outside of maybe the Chiefs doing what they did to the Lions at home last night, who had the best win across the league so far in week 6?
Yeah, I mean, I would have said the Chiefs because I think, beating a caliber of the team the Lions are, beating them pretty handily. I think if the Giants, if you go back to Thursday night, I mean, that was a killing. I mean, they just physically took it to the Eagles in a way that, quite frankly, I didn't think the Giants were capable of doing. So that was very impressive. There were a lot of weird games with Tampa Bay. I will say this for Tampa Bay. They are missing everybody and just keep scoring 30 points. They are, Ibuka's now hurt. McMillan's out. Evans is out. Godwin's out. Buck Irving's out. They're missing offensive line. It doesn't matter. Mayfield just continues to throw and throw and throw and keep winning. I was impressed by Tampa's win. Look, Seattle going on the road. I mean, Jacksonville's not a great team, but going on the road, going cross country, early start, getting a win there, getting themselves to 4-2. Felt like that was an impressive win. But, look, it was a day of a lot of teams just kind of scraping by. The Chargers needed to win at the last second. Denver had to hold on against the Jets team that I'm convinced is at this point just this is like a bit how bad that team is. The Browns are horrific. But yeah, I point to the Bucks, the Giants, Seattle, some real good wins.
I'll go ahead since you mentioned them and self-indulge a little bit. The advanced metric DVOA has identified the Seattle Seahawks as the best team in the NFL through most of week 6. They are number 1 in overall DVOA. I think that's a little steep, and I root for them. But how real are the Seahawks right now at 4-2 with what Sam Darnold is cooking up with Jackson Smith and Jigba?
I think they're good. I think they're a good team. Look, Darnold, to be fair and to be completely transparent, I thought I didn't mind them trading Geno Smith. I thought that was fine. But I also thought, Darnold getting away from Kevin O'Connell scared the heck out of me. I was like, I don't know what that's going to look like. He's been awesome. He's been really good. He's clearly an upgraded quarterback for them. Jackson Smith and Jigba, if he played in a big market, everybody would talk about him constantly. He's been phenomenal. I mean, the guy's 700 yards. They can always run the ball. Look, I think Seattle's a good to a very good team. I think, here's the one thing that is true right now in the NFL. There is not anybody who you look at and say that team is great. Nobody. I mean, it's not Philly. It's not Buffalo. I know Buffalo's lost one game. Buffalo has been far from great to this point in the season. Kansas City, I'd argue that their highs are about as high as anybody, but they're 3-3. I mean, they gave away a game to Jacksonville. They started 0-2. Denver has no offense. The Chargers felt good early. The Packers are good, but the Packers have lost to Cleveland. They tied Dallas. Dallas lost to Carolina. So listen, this whole year is kind of setting up for a whole bunch of teams that are relatively on the same level making the playoffs. And who's healthy and who gets hot, I think Seattle's in that mix of teams.
And Matt, you mentioned the Bills. They are in Atlanta tonight for one of two of the Monday night doubleheaders and the first week of 2 in a row. What do you think is going to happen tonight with them against the Falcons? I mean, we obviously saw their loss, and the Dolphins stayed with them on Thursday night a few weeks ago, but they're taking on a Falcons team 2-2.
Yeah, look, Atlanta's a weird team because Atlanta's a team that, they got beat 30-0 by Carolina. They're also a team that probably should have beat Tampa week 1. I know, Daniels didn't play, but they beat up Washington with 34 points against the Dan Quinn defense. They're very Jekyll and Hyde. But the question to me in this game is, can Buffalo stop them? I know Buffalo's going to score points in this game. Can Buffalo stop Bijan Robinson? Can Buffalo stop Drake London? I have no idea how they're going to do either one of those two things. They don't play defense. And you look at the metrics of Buffalo's defense, and you got they're playing nobody. Other than Baltimore, the best offense they've played is New England. Now, look, I like New England. I picked New England for the year to make the playoffs. New England has Stephon Diggs and nobody. And that's the second best offense Buffalo's played all year long. And they're still a very average defensive team by yards per play and things like that, third down rate. So I think Buffalo will win. It could also be a game where Atlanta scores 31 points because Buffalo just can't get off the field, and Atlanta wins 31-28 at the gun. So I think the Bills are, they're favorites. They deserve to be, but also they when you play defense like that, you're going to keep a lot of teams in the football game.
Other game in the doubleheader tonight, the former number 1 and number 2 overall picks in 2024 taking on each other, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. Commanders favored by closing in on a touchdown. What do you think of this one?
Chicago's coming off the bye. They played better last couple of weeks. I like Washington. I believe in Daniels. I actually think Chicago's got the better roster, quite frankly. Washington's roster is basically Daniels, McLaurin, who's hurt, and then a bunch of guys. Although I do like Krosky Merritt. I think he's a good young running back. But look, I'll take Washington. If the game was in Chicago, I'd probably go the other way. I think it's tight. I think the line's a little big. But Daniels, it just feels like Daniels knows how to make a winning play. He did it all last year. I think they find a way against the Bears defense that has not been good. They're beat up. They've got guys out, and that defense has been a sieve. I think Washington finds a way to beat them at home.
The real question, Matt, which game gets the main screen tonight? They'll both be happening at the same time.
I've got both those games. I got the Brewers game on. I got the Devils on in hockey. I need a control room. But I will have the Bills and the Falcons on. I think that's my assignment from SI. So that gets great.
There you have it. Matt Verderam covers the National Football League for Sports Illustrated at SI.com. Also has his subscriber-only Patreon, The Matt Verderam Show, and appears on That Football Show on the KC Sports Network. You can catch him every Monday at this time here on 580 Sports Talk. Matt, it is always a pleasure. Enjoy the games tonight. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
That is Matt Verderam. We will step aside for a timeout, come back, wrap up this hour with the good, the bad, the ugly from the weekend on 580 Sports Talk. do the good, the bad, and the ugly from the weekend that was. My good, we'll get into him more a little bit in the next hour. Des Purnell, Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week, the former Hayden Wildcat, showed up and showed out for a K-State defense that was dying for an individual effort like his on Saturday in their 41-28 win over TCU. Des Purnell's my good. What about you, Spencer? What was your good?
I'm rocking it. Marshall Green right now because they were 14.5-point underdogs to a at the time 4-1 ODU team who had like 17% they could go to the college football playoff as a group of 5 representative. 14.5-point underdogs to winning 48-24. I had K-State on the other screen, so shout out to K-State for the win, but Marshall goes from 14.5-point underdogs to 24-point winners.
My bad. It's a bummer when great players get hurt. Fred Warner being out for the year for the 49ers, that's a bummer. That makes football a little worse when a guy that great, a future Hall of Famer like Fred Warner, gets injured that grievously. So that's a bummer to see for the 49ers.
Yeah, it was my bad was KU playing Texas Tech. It was the knife being thrown at the KU staff.
My ugly, yeah, we'll get into that next segment as well. My ugly, I am going to run for public office sometime here in the next couple of years, and I'm going to run on this platform. I'm going to run for national office, and my platform will be, I am never going to allow the Denver Broncos and New York Jets play another football game ever again against each other. Every time they play each other, it is dookie water. It is the most unwatchable football game. We sent that to London. That's going to set our relations with that country back 300 years. Terrible. What was your ugly, real quick?
I had to take Olivia to the ER on Saturday. She got cotton swab stuck in her ear.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and they say not to do that, not to clean your ears that way, but 90% of America does that, I swear.
Well, maybe not her anymore. Geez, hope she's doing all right. We got college football to talk about. More Chiefs. What is wrong with you? Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Hour number 2 on 580 Sports Talk on a Victory Monday. Thanks so much for being with us on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. Particularly vivid living color today. Spencer's in the all green, repping the alma mater. I'm in yellow just because. Like, this is the shirt I grabbed out of my shirt drawer this morning, my Scrappy the Owl, Kennesaw State University shirt. Do I have any connection to that university or that part of the country? No, but it's Scrappy cool? Yes.
You got 2 different yellows on, though. At least I got the same color green on.
Okay, fashion police. Are you auditioning for a job at Vogue?
No.
I grabbed yellow and yellow adjacent, gold and gold adjacent. It's what I had.
But if you want more Kennesaw State stuff, go to that TJ Maxx up there by Target.
Oh yeah, they got some Al stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, vivid living color today. That's Spencer Dupuis. I'm Dan Lucero. We are here with you on 580 Sports Talk. We appreciate you being here with us on a Victory Monday. Lots more Chiefs to get to on the program today. We have some breaking news from all of the NFL insiders. Pick your favorite. First one I saw it from was Ian Rappaport. Brian Branch has been suspended 1 game by the NFL for punching Juju Smith-Schuster at the end of last night's Chiefs-Lions game. The league acted swiftly on this.
Yeah.
And I said in the last hour, look, you fine a guy 10 times in a season and a half, and he's still out there swinging on guys post-game because he got his feelings hurt, because he got bullied. It's time to start taking game checks and start taking games away, because obviously the fines aren't enough. The idea is they take a big chunk out of your wallet, and that's a deterrent. And you say, I don't like that. I would rather have $50,000. Even if you are like a millionaire several times over, you would rather have $50,000 than not have $50,000. You would rather not just donate that to the league because you lost your temper. So those are supposed to serve as deterrents. Clearly, for Brian Branch, he's not deterred. So maybe this will start deterring Brian Branch from acting like a child and letting his emotions get away from him because he and his team got their asses kicked.
I think, too, they need to send a message instead of fining this guy. Obviously, he was second-round pick, so he's got a decent contract, pretty good contract. Not a first-round pick contract, but, a decent rookie contract. So he can be paying those fines. But this guy was drafted in 2023. You got to teach him a lesson. He can't do that for the next 5-10 years. You got to show him, hey, stop right now.
Yeah, and at least Branch won't miss an important game against a team that can really throw the ball well. Actually, I'm getting breaking news that they play the Buccaneers next week on Monday Night Football.
And they're they're severely depleted at the defensive back position.
Already banged up. Kirby Joseph looked like he could barely walk there for a second. I don't know what they injected into Kirby Joseph that allowed him to finish the game last night, but I don't want any part of it. Don't let it anywhere near me. I guarantee you he was on the moon last night. But not great, not smart, and deserved for Brian Branch to be suspended a game for his actions following that Chiefs game. Like I said, we're going to have more on the Chiefs and the fact that they're fun again. And it has taken too long for us to be able to say that. But if you say that the 2024 Chiefs are fun, you're lying to yourself. That wasn't fun. This is fun. This is what fun looks like. This is what fun watching a football team looks like. And most of that starts with the offense. And it's only going to get better for the Chiefs on that side of the ball because Rashee Rice's suspension is over. We'll get to that a little bit later on in this hour. We also got a round of What Is Wrong With You coming up as well. And we're going to talk some college football this hour, too. Des Purnell, Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week for the Kansas State Wildcats. Great to see the former Hayden Wildcats stepping up big as K-State beats TCU comfortably at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. KU comfortably beaten by Texas Tech in Lubbock. Not a fun day out for them. We'll talk about both games here in just a little bit. Again, want to hear from you. Text line is open, 785-272-9429. Shoot us a text, 785-272-9429. Your reactions to anything that happened in the sports world this weekend. Chiefs, Cats, Hawks, whoever. 785-272-9429. You can also get at us in the YouTube comments. Again, the name of the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Jump on in, interact. We've got a fun chat going on every day on the program. And if you are new to the YouTube, you haven't been in the chat before, hop on. So, hey, be part of the conversation on our 580 Sports Talk YouTube channel. And if you've never done it before, no day like today, hit us up. Again, 580 Sports Talk is the name of the YouTube channel. Got to give you a keyword for the fall cash contest before we really get into football this hour. Our fall cash contest going on our website, 580wibw.com. We've got a keyword for every hour of the day. You listen, you hear the keyword, you go to 580wibw.com, click on that contest tab, enter the keyword, and then you're registered with a chance to win $2,000. We give away $2,000 today. We're going to give away $2,000 Tuesday through Friday as well. It's the second and final week of our fall cash contest. So hopefully if you've already won, you can't keep winning, but hopefully you want to use a winner this week with the keyword. This keyword, this hour, 4 o'clock hour for this Monday, link, L-I-N-K, link. And you might be saying to yourself or saying to your screen or saying to your radio right now, hold on a second, Dan. Link was the keyword on the 4 p.m. hour on Friday. How can it be the same keyword at 4 o'clock on a Monday? And I don't know how, man. I don't come up with this stuff. I get the sheet. I read the sheet. Keyword is link. Again, L-I-N-K, link. Go enter it at the link on the 580wibw.com page. Enter the contest. Go win $2,000 in our fall cash contest.
I just did a quick glance up and down these.
Yeah, they repeat, man.
Yeah, like this week, they repeat from last week.
Okay, there you go. That's there you have it. There are a couple that I've already read that I'm
Tomorrow
night,
5 o'clock will be the same as last Tuesday's 5 o'clock.
How about that? There you go. Yeah. You will not be hearing a rerun tomorrow. It will be live. It'll just be the same keyword. Just so that we are clear. All right, let's talk a little college football. For Kansas State, we've been saying throughout their 2-4 start, and not dissimilar to how we had talked about the Chiefs and their 2-3 start, in the games they were not winning, they were lacking a killer edge, a killer instinct, somebody to go out and make a winning play. That was the phrase that Patrick Mahomes used following the Chiefs' loss to Jacksonville. We kind of used that term quite a bit last week when we were talking about not just the Chiefs, but also K-State, because 2-4 start for them, 2-3 start for the Chiefs. There were some similarities in their inability to win a close game. And, well, K-State still doesn't want a close game. You can't lose a close game if you win big instead, and that's what the Wildcats did. A 41-28 final score that actually flatters the victory because they scored with 30-odd seconds. Somebody had to stand up and be counted, and it was Des Purnell, which couldn't happen for a nicer kid. Des, obviously, he's a local. He's a Hayden High School Wildcat, and he's been a reliable member of that defense the last couple of years, and he had the best game of his life on Saturday. 2 interceptions, including a pick 6, that really set K-State on course to win the game. Also had a sack, and the sack came right before the pick 6. The great that will be the minute and a half to 2 minutes of television that Des Purnell will one day show his grandkids and say, your grandpa was a bad you-know-what out there on the gridiron. Watch me do this. A first down sack and then the second down pick 6. And that play was so big because K-State's offense looked totally stuck early, which has sort of been their default throughout the year. They were stalling out. They get in a good position, and then they would run a bad first down play. They'd end up in a 3rd and long and not convert it. They'd have to punt. They still are not consistent enough on first down. They are still too content to run inside zone on first down. This is not a good inside zone team. Like, they're not a good inside between the tackles running football team consistently enough to be able to move the ball doing that on every first down.
If it wasn't for the 2 defensive touchdowns, they would have lost at least 28-27.
Like, that's what the math says, but obviously you can't, like, just directly do
no,
that.
but
like,
clearly the offense wasn't that great. I mean, Avery Johnson, 33 touchdowns, no picks,
and
but he didn't go over 200.
Avery was really good. yesterday. Here's why those defensive touchdowns were so important, because the game was stuck.
Yeah.
And Kansas State was stuck. But TCU took the lead. K-State put together a touchdown drive right away. That was really encouraging that they struck back after TCU took that lead. Then Wesley Fair scores the touchdown on the fumble recovery and turned the game on its ear. But Purnell's pick six, it seemed to relax Kansas State. It put them in a position of game control. And from there, their offense found a rhythm and maybe even a little bit of an identity, as close to an identity as I think we've seen from Kansas State to this point this season, with Joe Jackson on the ground. He went for 112 yards. It was just over 4 yards a carry. It wasn't a dominant effort, but it was a consistent effort in the second half that allowed Kansas State to chisel away and really put them in control of the game. And every time it felt like TCU was back in the game, they got within 2 scores on 2 separate occasions in the fourth quarter, or in the second half, I should say, K-State had a response. The 12-play, 75-yard drive that ended on Avery's touchdown pass to Jared Bradley. Great throw, by the way. Perfectly placed back in the end zone. Great footwork by Bradley. That was one of the best drives, maybe the best drive of the K-State season. And then when K-State went 3 and out after the long touchdown that McAllister had with about eight and a half minutes left, it's 35-21, and TCU's got the ball, and they had just scored in the blink of an eye. And if you'd watched any of this K-State team, you were not feeling comfortable in that moment with that 2-score lead. Well, there was Purnell again, picking off Josh Hoover, allowing K-State to put together the field goal drive that cinched the game. Doubling back to Avery Johnson, I know the numbers don't fly off the page. I thought he was outstanding. And there was one play in particular, even though it did not end up in a scoring drive, there was one play in particular where I finally saw the thing I've been wanting to see from Avery Johnson all season long. It was the second quarter. K-State had a third and medium, and Johnson scrambled to the right and slid a yard short of the first down. And he got up and he was shocked that the spot was where it was, but I mean, that's the rule. They spot it where you start your slide, and that can be tough for an official to judge if they're trailing the play. And maybe Avery Johnson felt like he got shortchanged even by a half a yard. He wasn't happy with the spot, but the spot was the spot. He slid before the marker on third down. Slid. Self-preservation. Slid before the marker. Cost you a first down. If you go dive, if you duck the shoulder, you got a first down and the drive continues. And Avery Johnson didn't do that. And that has been the part and parcel of the Avery Johnson experience this year. You haven't seen that enough from him. You haven't seen him make the play that sustains the drive, make the play that gets the extra yard or two. That's going all the way back to the Ireland game against Iowa State. Well, you know what K-State did on the next play? They went for it, and they called a designed run for Avery Johnson, and Avery dipped the shoulder, and he made damn sure that he got the first down at the second time of asking. And that is what I've been looking for all season from Avery Johnson. Some over my dead body plays from a player who, A, is plainly talented, B, this team's leader, and C, with Dylan Edwards shelved for who knows how long, the most talented runner of the football on the roster. There are some plays where you got to throw caution to the wind, and now a season where you got to throw caution to the wind and just say, we got to get this yard. We got to get this drive. We got to win this game. There are no more, self-preservation, got to worry about next week, got to worry about long-term. There is no long-term. Go win a football game. Go win the game. And I had not seen enough of that. I'm not saying I'd never seen it from Avery this year, but I had not seen enough of it from Avery Johnson this year. And seeing it in that moment, even though that was a second quarter drive that ended up in a punt, pretty sure, that to me was very encouraging. And I think it spoke to where Avery Johnson's mindset is, where this team's mindset is. And I thought Purnell's performance spoke to where the leadership, the veterans on this team are, deciding we have got to go win a game. We can't take any more of these for granted. We're out of mulligans. We're going to have a season that's any kind of anything. We can't lose anymore. And they went out and they made sure, even as a home underdog, that they took care of business. And that 13-point margin at the end, that flatters TCU. That is flattering to the visitors because K-State, and yeah, you could say the defensive touchdowns, that was the margin in the game. Well, yeah, you got to make those plays. And Kansas State, in a season, a first of their season where too frequently they did not make those plays or those plays were being made against them, they were finally the team to go and make those plays on Saturday afternoon at the Bill. And I give them a lot of credit. And again, it was really, really cool to see Des Purnell be that guy for the Wildcats. It was a happy Saturday for the Purple Persuasion, not so much for the University of Kansas's football team. They lost to Texas Tech 42-17. And there's not a whole lot to say about the game itself. Texas Tech is better, and they were 2-touchdown favorites, and they played like it. There was a minor hiccup when Baron Morton left the game, and they tried to just run all the same stuff for Baron Morton with their backup quarterback, Will Hammond, and it was like they got into the locker room and regrouped and said, hey, this guy's a really good runner. Why don't we just run some more? We're having a lot of success running the ball. Why don't we just run our quarterback now? And Hammond ran for that touchdown early in the third quarter, and KU didn't score in the second half. The plain truth about Texas Tech, they look like a $28 million football team. That is the reported NIL budget for Texas Tech. That is the reported number, what they have spent on name, image, and likeness. Essentially what they're paying their players, $28 million. They look like a $28 million football team. And the response to one team in the conference building a $28 million football team and romping up and down the league to this point in the season and looking like a playoff team, the one team in the Big 12 that looks like a playoff team right now, all due respect to undefeated BYU. Maybe I'll get to more of that game later when we go through the AP Top 25. All I will say for right now about BYU is that Bear Bachmeier is America's funniest quarterback.
Yeah.
He is out there wearing number 47 and running a high school offense and just doing whatever. And, hey, it's working because BYU's got a nasty defense. But I'm looking forward to the Holy War this Saturday. Let's just say that. I'm really looking forward. We'll see what BYU's really made of against a really good team in Utah. But Tech looks like the playoff team, the clear team in the Big 12 that's just streets ahead of everybody else. They spend the most money, so they ought to be. And the response to that is not to complain about, it's not a level playing field. Cody Campbell's their sugar daddy, and he wrote him a big check. Nope, you don't get your hate up. You get your weight up. And you know who understands this? Kansas. Do you remember that big, fat check David Booth wrote before the season started? There's a big chunk of that $200 million that's earmarked toward NIL. Because Kansas understands, you want to run with the big dogs, you better spend like the big dogs. And here's the neat thing that's happening in college football right now, because I think the broad assumption, a lot of people made this assumption. And I know a lot of people made this assumption because a lot of people brought this assumption to our YouTube comments and our text line, is that money over the table in college football, rather than being an under-the-table endeavor, as it had been for so many years, will only allow the blue bloods, the big programs, to gain further and further separation from everybody else. There would be a starker divide between the haves and the have-nots. And what has ended up happening, in fact, is the exact opposite. Or maybe you missed that Texas Tech is in the top 10, or that Indiana is in the top 3. Schools are just deciding, hey, we want to be good at football. Let's spend the money. Let's bring in some players and let's be good at football. Well, and they're good at football. It's happening right away. There doesn't have to be a building period. The money on the field is leveling the playing field. Anybody who decides to be good and spend the money accordingly and wisely can be good. And Kansas knows it too. And if they didn't know it, they sure know it after Saturday night.
I think it also has to do with coaching too. For instance, Virginia Tech looking for a new head coach. They know in order to attract a coach that they want to that program, they have to up the ante. And that's what they're going to do. They're upping the ante with money to the football budget. But also it's the coach himself, like Cignetti specifically. He could be targeted to go to Penn State. And then, boom, what happens to Indiana's football program? Back where they were.
I don't know about that. I mean, maybe Cignetti is a singular talent, but if Indiana decides they like being good at football, they can go hire somebody else who's really good. They can go hire like Casey Keeler from Temple and give him a similar NIL budget and say, hey, go win us some football games, because Keeler's won at every level he's ever been.
Yeah.
So like that is nobody would confuse Joey McGuire with this great tactician, a program changing head coach, He's got a top 10 team in the country because the money's on the field. The money's on the field. The money's in the trenches. And that's where KU was absolutely outmatched. That's where Tech's outmatching everybody right now is in the trenches. They are better up front. Offensive line, defensive line, they are better, and that's where a lot of their money is.
I mean, if you get the best offensive line, you get the best defensive line, it helps you be able to pound the football or get sacks, you know?
We will take a time out here at 580 Sports Talk. We're going to get back into the Chiefs. They're fun again, and that's fun. But we got What Is Wrong With You to start a new week on that segment coming up next on 580 Sports Talk. So what is wrong with you time on 580 Sports Talk? 2 news stories to kick off a new week on the segment. Spencer, I'm going to let you go first today. You got another Florida man story.
Yeah, we are going to Florida. A shirtless Florida man attacked multiple people with a metal shelf during a wild brawl inside a Miami area supermarket Thursday night. The raging melee between two large parties of people broke out after an aggressive verbal argument turned physical near the entrance of a Publix in Miami around 6 p.m. last Thursday. Two women clawing at each other, crashed into a display unit that propped up greeting cards, dislodging one of the shelves as they fell to the ground, according to footage obtained by the local outlet and shared by social media outlets. The half-naked man, identified as Clement Mann, is accused of picking up the large rectangular shelf and whacking the two ladies brawling on the ground. Man appeared to turn around and walk towards another fight that had broke out, but reversed course and turned to the two females on the floor. One of the blows appeared to strike one of the women in the head. The 20-year-old smashed the shelf on a pair of two more times before he dropped the object and jumped into the brawl. A larger group on the opposite side of the registers surrounded two others fighters wrestling on the ground, according to video. Dozens of items were thrown across the floor, including greeting cards, headphones, a loaf of bread, paper, sandals, and one woman's wig. Curious shoppers stood off to the side as they watched the melee, while others casually walked past the assault happening in front of them. Uniformed public employees positioned themselves in front of the registers and employees' offices as they waited for the police to arrive. The brawls eventually spilled in the parking lot before officers broke it up. Everyone involved with the melee was trespassed from the store. Police did not reveal the cause of the brawl. 2 people were transported to the hospital. Several others were treated by fire crews outside the store. A local shopper feared that her go-to store would lose customers because of the brawl. Man was charged with felony aggravated battery, criminal mischief, and disorderly conduct.
So what was his relationship to the two women he just waylaid with the
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know if he's trying to break that up or if he just saw an opportunity. Hey, cool. Fight. Let me grab some foreign objects. I got more questions than answers.
I think he might know them because a judge has ordered him to stay away from the alleged victims, both in person and online.
Okay. Yeah. Could know them both.
Yeah.
Victims, plural. All right. That is your story today. My story. We go to College Station, Texas. There's not a lot to like on the website formerly known as Twitter, now known as X, the everything app these days. But one account that still remains a beacon of entertainment in the darkness is at TAMU Police. It's the police blotter for the university police.
They do a great
at
job
Texas A&M. And they're very up to date.
Especially on game days.
They're very thorough. They did leave out an important piece of information, but we actually did get the blank filled in on this. So I'm just going to read their post to X from Saturday. Texas A&M was at home. Who did they play? They beat, was it Florida?
Yeah.
Is that who they played? Yeah, it was Florida. Yeah, because the hashtag is BTHO Florida. Beat the hell out of Florida.
Wait, they hashtagged it too?
Yeah, they hashtagged it. Anyway, it had nothing to do with the game, but also everything to do with the game, because you can imagine it's probably a fan on campus. Anyway, this is the report from the Texas A&M Police. Public intoxication. Aggie Park. Contacted subject eating a sandwich with a water jug of whiskey. BAC was 0.337. Released to EMS.
I would hope so. About to have their stomach pumped.
He would have died if not. 337. To give you an idea, that would have won the American League batting championship this year. That's 6 points better than what Aaron Judge hit. When you are toting a water jug full of whiskey, at that point, you don't care if you live or die, right? Like at that point, I don't know that that's a consideration any longer. Also, Matt Brown, friend of the program, author of the Extra Points newsletter, reached out to the Texas A&M Police and found out the important information here. The sandwich was a pimento cheese sandwich. I don't know how well that pairs with whiskey, but I at least respect that he understood I got a water jug full of whiskey and I'm feeling it a little bit. I should probably eat something. A pimento cheese sandwich. 337 BAC.
If you want a good laugh, just go to this account on X and scroll back to 2 days ago.
It is.
Because we were sitting there in bed, Olivia and I, on Saturday night, and I was just reading them.
They are pretty good. All right, who wins today? We got the melee at the Publix or our water jug of whiskey story. Here's the thing. Here's why I'm going to go with the water jug of whiskey.
Yeah.
The brawl at the Publix. Again, I leave with a lot more questions than answers. With the water jug of whiskey, it's all there, right? Except for the sandwich detail, but that did get reported out. We understand it was a pimento cheese sandwich, but this man was annihilated. And
did he end up getting a public intox ticket afterwards, though? Because it doesn't say.
Well, it says there was a charge, right? Public intoxication. That's that was what the response to the call, right?
Yeah.
Now, I feel like if you have a BAC at 337, they had to pump that man's stomach. The pimento cheese. Ugh. Anyway, I think he already paid.
Yeah.
I think at that point, you get that drunk and with a pimento cheese sandwich, you already paid. Water jug of whiskey advances on What Is Wrong With You. We'll take a break. When we come back, the Kansas City Chiefs are fun again. It's been too long since we could say that. No, we weren't saying it last year. We're saying it this year on 580 Sports Talk. 441 on 580 Sports Talk. Dan and Spencer hanging out with you on this Monday. It's a Victory Monday. Chiefs 30, Lions 17 on Sunday Night Football. Chiefs are back to 3-3, putting a halt to the 4-game winning streak in the Lions. Ask yourself this honest question and come away with an honest answer. Did you have fun watching the 2024 Kansas City Chiefs? Maybe you enjoyed the destination. Another AFC championship, another appearance in the Super Bowl. Those are always fun, right? It's fun. Memorable year because you go to the Super Bowl. Memorable for going 12-0 in one-score games, including the AFC championship game. Certainly some very high highs. Enjoyed the destination. But come on, be honest with yourself. You didn't enjoy the journey last year, right? Because I'm going to tell you, again, honestly speaking here, I did not enjoy watching slog after slog for the Kansas City Chiefs last year. I remember at one point last season, there was a texter into the program. Somebody texted the show. You can text the show, 785-272-9429. Somebody last year referred to what the Chiefs were doing. And they were in the middle of that spell where they weren't losing, but they weren't dominating teams. Said it was like Marty Ball, but with the best quarterback in the league. Society has evolved beyond the need for Marty Ball in 2024, 2025. You don't have to win that way. And the Chiefs seemed bent many times last season to win that way. And it was gross. It was unpleasant. How many instant reactions last year on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube? How many instant reactions did we do, Spencer, last year, where we took the cameras on and said some variation of the Chiefs won, that was gross, or the Chiefs won somehow, that was not pleasant, but a win is a win? How many times did we do that last year?
I'll just say way too many times.
Way too many times. That was the story of the 2024 Chiefs, that the offense too often was stuck in the mud. They couldn't generate explosive plays. And yeah, they won because they out-executed teams in those one-score games, and they got some breaks, obviously. But outside of the winning, if you were there to be entertained, it wasn't an entertaining Kansas City Chiefs team. The last 7 halves of these Chiefs, and yes, I include the loss to Jacksonville in this, they have been fun. They have particularly been fun on the offensive side of the football. And I described it last night on our instant reaction, which you can, again, watch on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, our Facebook page, WIBW News. We go live 10 minutes or so after every Chiefs game. We get the crew together. We do an instant reaction. If you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, you'll know exactly when we go live because it'll send a notification to your phone. So you should go do that. You should subscribe to our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. I refer to it as an offensive confidence that borders on arrogance that these Chiefs are starting to show. You can see it with the little the Flappy Bird thing that they're doing with their hands, the wide receivers. I don't know where that came from. Nobody seems to know where it came from. Just one guy did it, and then everybody else started doing it, which is how those things usually go. I
like their new mantra.
Everybody's got to eat.
Everybody got to eat.
Everybody's got to. Yeah, they got a slogan.
EGE.
Yeah, they got a hashtag and a slogan. You can see it in that. You can see it in Isaiah Pacheco coming out of a pile after a 5-yard run and spinning the ball like he just gained 35 yards.
But for him, let's be real, 5 yards is 35 yards for a guy that just is Isaiah Pacheco.
But like he's fired up because those were a hard 5-6 yards, and he ran hard, and he probably hit somebody pretty good, and he spins the football saying, you can't stop me from getting those 5-6 yards. It's a confidence. It's an explosiveness. We gave you this stat earlier. Jesse Newell had this in The Athletic today, that the Chiefs generated 11 explosive plays last night. That's a 10-yard run or a 15-yard pass or more. And that's back-to-back games where they've recorded double-digit explosive plays. They'd only done that once in their previous 20 games. So the explosive plays are back, and the confidence is back, and Rashee Rice is about to be back. It just feels like the swagger is back for the Kansas City Chiefs on offense. And at the helm of it all is Patrick Mahomes, playing as well as he has played since the last time he won the MVP. Matt Verderam said as much. We had him on in the 3 o'clock hour. He said it's the best to see Mahomes since his last MVP, his second MVP year in 2022. You can sense his confidence. He made that throw. It was early. It was on their. I think it was on their opening drive. He made that throw to Juju to end up going for a 30-yard gain. Little bit across his body. There was a receiver there or a defender in the frame. Didn't matter. Mahomes just let that rip on the run and knew Juju could turn it into yards.
And then you're like, Juju early? What?
Yeah. And and the thing that's cool about Juju, real quick aside about Juju, you would think of all of the people to be like not excited about Rashee Rice returning. You would think he'd be a little subdued about it, right? Because more Rice means less Juju. Just naturally speaking, he moves down a slot on the pecking order on the depth chart, and there aren't a lot of snaps for wide receiver number 4. There just aren't. Ask Jalen Royals. Like who is wide receiver 4 for the Chiefs right now? Like Tyquan Thornton's going to move down the depth chart. Like there's a lot of guys,
especially because they're using Brashad Smith in the passing game more than they're using him in the run game, so he's out wide.
And last night they used 11 personnel, which is 1 tight end and 1 running back. The Chiefs used 11 personnel last night, only 33% of their snaps. So they were out there in a lot of 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends. So that's only room for 2 wide receivers on the field. And it's hard for everybody to eat when there's only 2 of you on the field for a snap, right? But this is what I love about Juju. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Man, he's a great teammate. He's supposed to win. He's trying to get another ring before his career sunsets, and he's fired up for his guys. That's why I think, we kind of rolled our eyes last year when they brought him back, but he's clearly a great presence in that receiver room and in that locker room.
I think, too, the usage of him is smart. He's not a top guy anymore, right? So he's not going to be able, but if you can get him on those routes like we saw last night, successful.
Yeah. And speaking of veteran players who are being used effectively, Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, back-to-back games, 60-plus yards receiving. It's not prime Travis Kelce. You can tell that. He's not making as many guys miss, but you get him one-on-one with a linebacker, he's going to get open. He made some big catches. He made some big plays last night. It's really good use of Travis Kelce. It's not over-reliance on him. It's not asking him. I thought early in the year, the way they were trying to use him, it felt like they were asking him to be 2019 Travis Kelce. Now, they feel like they're using him in a way that's more commiserate with what his skill set is at present. And everything feels open. I said at the open of the show, it feels like the Chiefs offense is going downhill. That's what it, and not in the sense of, things are going bad. I mean that they are moving downhill. I mean that the field is tilted in their direction on offense right now. That is what it feels like watching them play. Paul makes a really good point in the YouTube comments. Chiefs had an 8-play, 82-yard scoring drive last night that took less than 4 minutes off the clock. And he asked, did the 2024 team have any scoring drive with just one of those numbers? 8 plays might have been 32 yards. 82-yard drive would have ended in a field goal. Less than 4 minutes, they probably went 3 and out. That's a really interesting question to ask. But yeah, those quick strike drives, average 10 yards a play on a drive. Those really were not the sort of drives we were seeing from the Chiefs last season. That is a great point. And so you've restored that explosiveness, and you're seeing enough of it in the running game.
Yeah.
They're starting to find a little bit of a workable running game. Most of that coming under center with the extra tight ends. They ran it 12 times for 57 yards from under center last night. You'll take that. Again, given who you're handing the ball off to, if you can get around 5 yards a carry in a scenario, you'll take that. That's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be spectacular. And now they get Rashee Rice back.
Yeah.
And I'm just so fascinated to see what it looks like moving forward, how they reintegrate him into the offense. Because he should be fully healthy. This isn't going to be one of those where he comes back and he's on a pitch count. He should be ready to rock and roll. He's been practicing. He should be able to have a full-ish workload in Sunday's game against the Raiders. What does that look like for this offense? And for once, it's actually fun to consider the possibilities of what a Chiefs offense could be.
Yeah.
After last year, it was just so grim and it wasn't explosive. And we kept pointing every week to, well, you see the efficiency numbers. You see the success rate. You know what isn't fun? Efficiency. It's not sexy at all? Efficiency. You know what is fun? You know what is exciting? Explosives. And back-to-back games with double-digit numbers of explosive plays for this Chiefs offense. First time they've scored 28-plus in 3 straight games since 2021. Like last year, around week 14, 15, you can see that they were starting to figure some things out on offense. Worthy was rolling. But now, Patrick Mahomes has all his infinity stones. We haven't seen this before. We have never seen Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy take the field together. We've never seen it. I can't wait to see what it looks like. I'm excited to watch this team when they get the ball. Like they were a bathroom break offense last year at times, I think. This year, they are once again back to being must-see TV. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this 4 o'clock hour, 580 Sports Talk next. Two other things real quick about Juju Smith-Schuster. I agree with Tyler in the YouTube comments. There's still going to be a place for Juju in the offense. Tyler says he's a big physical target. He'll be good on third down. He has that, what Mitch Holtz just described to us when we talked to him a couple of weeks ago, that door hinge role, where he's really good at running routes that open up other wide receivers, understanding that, hey, this play isn't for you, but you run your route successfully, it's going to get somebody else wide open for a big gain. So it's not going to be the end of Juju, but it's certainly, we're going to see a little less of him snap-wise. And the fact that he's such an awesome teammate about it, just that's why you win championships with guys like him, with guys who are teammates like him, who have attitudes like he does. Also, I loved how after the game, they asked him about the whole deal he got into with Brian Branch, and he hit Brian Branch with, I know he's a better player and a person than that. He basically said, bless his heart. He was wrong, because also, like, Juju, come on, man, he's been fined 10 times. Maybe this is just who he is. Maybe just Brian Branch is a bit of a jerk.
Yeah.
Suspended a game by the NFL earlier today. Brian Branch, by the way, in case you missed that breaking news. Quick recap of the 580 picks contest. I was the worst kind of wrong this week. I was not just wrong, I was loud wrong. I sat here and I said Indiana was some paper tigers and Kurt Signetti was all hat and no cattle, and they beat Oregon's ass, man. Never mind. Wrongo. I was thinking of last year's Indiana team. This year's Indiana team does look like a top 5 team in the country. Fernando Mendoza, they had the better quarterback in the game. That was the biggest thing. Mendoza wasn't awesome, and he threw the pick 6, but he's better than Dante Moore. And a lot of times in a game like that, you have the better quarterback, you're going to win. And Mendoza wasn't great, but he had the best wide receiver in the game. That Elijah Surratt is the real deal. So loud and wrong about that. Loud and wrong about Iowa State, Colorado. Rocco Beck, woof. Very unimpressive. Although they kind of did get hosed. That interception to the goal line, that should have been pass interference. That was a game-turning play that the referees just flat out. I mean, was Kevin Marr on that game?
Probably.
I know, right? Kevin Marr
asshole. He is.
Yeah. So I went 1-4 this week. At least JSN scored a touchdown for me. Brendan 2-3 this week. Spencer 3-0 with a couple of Commander picks sitting on the table tonight.
Bill is up to the number is up to 69.5. I'm still taking that because it's going to be a rainy night in the DC area.
So
and also Commanders up to 5.5 point favorites now.
Where were they on Friday?
4.5.
Were they 4.5?
They were 3.5.
You still get the Friday numbers. Fair is fair. But 3-0 for Spencer heading into the night. Somebody's got to stop this man. I have a plan. I have a plan. Coming up, 580 Sports Talk headlines. We'll talk NFL Week 6. Concepts of a plan. We got NFL Week 6 talk. Final Chiefs thoughts next. 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Third and final hour on 580 Sports Talk on this Victory Monday. So glad you're here with us on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9. Online at 580WIBW.com and on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis, hanging with you for one more hour today. Chiefs Kingdom show to follow. That should be a raucous one at whichever Hy-Vee Mitch Holtis and friends will be at tonight. Then we'll follow it with some Monday Night Football. There is a doubleheader tonight, and both games happening concurrently. Spencer did not have any input, but it's like he did because we picked the Commanders game. And we picked the Commanders game because we can air it in full. So it was a really easy decision to make. But, yes.
I mean, you're airing Commanders games on back-to-back weekends?
Yeah, it is. Back-to-back weeks. Yeah, we did Commanders Chargers last Sunday.
It's like I've taken over control of the station.
Well, you keep winning the picks contest. Consider it something like a prize. Anyhow, we've got the Commanders and the Bears tonight, our Monday Night Football game from Westwood One. You'll be able to hear it right here on 580 WIBW FM 104.9, and you will be able to hear the game in its entirety as it kicks off just after 7 o'clock, 7:15, I believe, is the kickoff. The earlier game is Bills-Falcons tonight. No Dalton Kincaid for the Bills tonight.
Or Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel also out. Josh Allen.
Milano as well.
Will be throwing to Khalil Shakir and some plumbers.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not fair to Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
Maybe it is fair to Keon Coleman.
Do you think that during halftime they break to that game?
I actually don't know. We'll see how much of it I watch, how much of it I get to watch tonight. I'm more interested, frankly, in Commanders Bears. I think it could be a more fun game. Like the Falcons are just not a fun watch. They should.
No, but they
should be
they
because
win,
they have
though.
Bijan.
Yeah, but I'm saying it. Did you hear he changed the way his name is pronounced now? It's Bijan.
No, it's not.
I'm pretty certain.
Like I understand where you may have heard that from, but I think at this point he's doing a bit. I think at this point he is like it's like that one time Travis Kelce tried to convince everybody that his last name was really Kels.
But they used to call him that in grade school.
But they didn't know how to pronounce it. He's been Kelce his whole career. Yeah, I think he's just messing. I really do. I think Bijan, Bayan, Bijan Robinson, whatever. I think he's messing with us. I think there's one pronunciation for his name, and he's given out like 3 or 4. And it's funny. Like, it's a good bit. Text from the 785 says he's tired of being confused with the mustard. I don't think he is. He has his own mustard.
He does?
Yes. There's Bijan's Dijon. It's out there. I'm not kidding you. Google Bijan Robinson mustard. Bijan Mustardson, it's called. It's like a touchdown in your mouth. I'm not making that up, man. That's what the bottle says.
Can I buy it?
Mustard
Hold on,
shop.
They got a triple option. You can get the honey mustard, the yellow mustard, and the original Dijon Bijan
For only $16? I'm losing money if I don't buy these gourmet mustards.
Yeah.
Shipping might be if they make it in Texas, the shipping might not be too onerous.
You can buy an autographed bottle for $150.
You can also get dipping cups. Nah, man, this rocks.
You can also buy merch.
Yeah, you get some Bijan Mustardson merch. Anyhow, start talking about.
Apparently, he did an NIL deal with the University of Texas shortstop.
Okay.
And the T-shirt says it's like a home run in your mouth, and it's a picture of the guy, the player for Texas, and the mustard in the background.
We could all really stand to be careful. Anyway, Monday Night Football tonight following Chiefs Kingdom. We will bring you the Commanders Bears broadcast from Westwood One. We got some more NFL to talk about. Week 6, wrapping it up with some of the highlights and some of the lowlights from the NFL weekend. We got some final Chiefs thoughts as well. Again, we want to hear from you. 785-272-9429 on that text line. 785-272-9429. Also get at us on the YouTube chat. If you're hanging out with us on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, hop in to the YouTube chat and say hello. Paul says he changed his name to Bijan because he's crying for help. He wants to be traded. He's saying bye to Atlanta, perhaps. Anyway, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. Hop in the chat. It's a good time. I've got one more keyword for today's fall cash contest giveaway on 580WIBW.com. The way it works is very simple. I give you the keyword, and then you go enter it on our website, 580WIBW.com. You enter the keyword this hour, and then you enter your information. And when you've done that, you are registered for a chance to win $2,000. Who couldn't use $2,000? We're giving away $2,000 today. We're giving away $2,000 every weekday at 580WIBW.com. But you got to know the keyword, and your keyword for this hour is shop. Shop, which is what Spencer and I were doing for Bijan Mustards and Mustards not long ago on this program. Shop, S-H-O-P, shop is your keyword. It's good for the end of the hour. Your last chance today to enter a keyword and register to win $2,000 over at 580WIBW.com.
In case you wanted to know, you could go to Kirkwood, Missouri, or St. Louis, Missouri, or Omaha, Nebraska, and buy the mustard.
It's in stores, you say.
Yes. Yep. Albertson stores, Market Street. Albertson's part of the Dillons.
Yeah. I haven't seen an Albertsons in a long time.
Jungle Gyms in Cincinnati. That's a crazy place.
They used to have an Albertsons right by where my folks still live, but it became a Walmart neighborhood instead. Anyway, neither here nor there. We got so many headlines.
We do. Let's jump in.
Yeah, let's do some headlines. We're just going to cover all the college football bases with one headline. We will start with the kickoff time for the Sunflower Showdown. It was released, as were all of the kickoff times for Big 12 games of Saturday, October 11th, earlier today. It'll be breakfast at the booth, an 11 a.m. kick for the Sunflower Showdown. K-State and Kansas will kick off at 11 a.m. and be broadcast on TNT. It is the TNT game this 2 Saturdays now.
Where'd you get this graphic from?
The K-State press release.
Somebody messed up.
Why do you say that?
Look at the date. Big 12 TV selections for Saturday, October 11th.
Okay, yeah, that's obviously wrong. I read that too. Anything you put on the prompter, Lucero will read. That is obviously not for the 11th. That is for October 25th. That is when the Sunflower Showdown is being played, October 25th. Anything you put on the teleprompter, Burgundy will read. So, Saturday, October 25th, K-State, Kansas, 11 a.m., TNT, also simulcast on True TV. I don't know why they do that. And
because they need programming.
And you can stream it on HBO Max. So there you go. TNT's game this week was Houston, Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So
or you can wait till the end and get an instant reaction for both Dan and I, who are slated to go.
Yeah. So I would suggest people watch the game and watch the instant reaction. That's the best of all. Other games on the 25th of October. BYU, Iowa State will have the midday kickoff, 2:30 on Fox. Baylor, Cincinnati, and Oklahoma State, Texas Tech will kick off at 3 p.m. and one of those will be on ESPN2. The other will be on the U. TCU, West Virginia gets the ESPN Plus treatment, a 5 p.m. kickoff in Morgantown. Houston and Arizona State will be a 7 p.m. kick. That will get either ESPN2 or ESPNU. Colorado, Utah will be the Big 12 After Dark selection on ESPN, the Rumble in the Rockies between the Utes and the Buffs. So, K-State, KU, 11 a.m. Of course, both Jayhawks and Wildcats on a bye this week, but 11 a.m. for the Sunflower Showdown. It was a Black Sunday in college football. 3 head coaches were fired yesterday across the college football Division I landscape. Trent Bray let go at Oregon State. They started 0-7. It's not really his fault. It's certainly not really the program's fault. They kind of got left behind. Realignment did this to Oregon State more than Oregon State did this to themselves. Maybe they can rehire Jonathan Smith because I don't think he's going to make it through the end of the year at Michigan State. And he should want to go back anyway. Sometimes you just got to bloom where you're planted. Anyway, they promoted Trent Bray after Smith left for Michigan State and took most of that team with him. Remember, Oregon State in the last year, the Pac-12 was a top 20 team in the country. And Jonathan Smith took all their guys. And Oregon State, 0-7 this year, Trent Bray out. Trent Dilfer let go at UAB, stunning absolutely nobody.
About time.
So if you don't know the story of UAB, here's the Cliff Notes. They had a really good 6-year run under Bill Clark. They won 2 Conference USA titles. This was after the program had been disbanded by the state government. Basically, hey, UAB, you're getting a little big for your britches. We've only really got one program we give a damn about in the University of Alabama university system, and it ain't the one in Birmingham, right? It's one in Tuscaloosa. So that was a big part of the reason why they shut that program down. It really is. And there were enough angry alumni and people with a little money behind it that they resurrected the program.
Built a new stadium.
Built an on-campus stadium, which is very nice. And they were kind of rolling under Bill Clark. And then Bill Clark had some health problems, a bad back, and he quit coaching. And his interim that year, Brian Vincent, took him to a bowl game. Very unexpected that year, but they went to a bowl game under Brian Vincent. They had a chance to hire Vincent after the season. They did. Where's he coaching now? ULM? Is he? I think he's at ULM. Yeah, he's in the Sun Belt. He's at ULM. They hired Trent Dilfer. UAB did. Did he have ties to Birmingham or the state of Alabama? No. Had he ever been a college coach? No. Had he ever been a college coordinator? No. But was he on TV and famous?
He was also a high school coach, I think.
Yeah, he'd been a high school coach.
That was about it.
High school to college hasn't really worked for anybody.
Nope.
Historically.
Unless you go from high school to college assistant and then work your way.
Dilfer got to UAB. He was arrogant. He was dismissive. He thought the job was beneath him, and the results were what they were. They have gone longer between road wins than they did when the program didn't exist. That's where things fell for that proud program under Trent Dilfer. So he's out at UAB. But this was all prelude, of course, to the big news from yesterday. 16 days after coaching the number 3 team in the country, James Franklin is out of a job. Penn State fired James Franklin after they lost by 1 point to Northwestern on Saturday and also lost starting quarterback Drew Aller for the rest of the season with an ankle injury. Penn State came up with the $49 million to buy out James Franklin, and he is out at Penn State. And make no mistake, this was headed in that direction as soon as they lost to UCLA.
Yeah.
But it is still amazing that team was in overtime as the number 3 team in the country. They were in OT at home against Oregon, and 16 days later, they don't have a coach. They fired James Franklin. It's a fun game to play when you see a school come up with that kind of buyout money to ask yourself, who's the money man? Do you know who the money man is at Penn State?
Well, there are reports going around that in 2020, this is a factual statement. In 2026, Penn State is changing uniform providers to Adidas. And there are reports going around that Adidas is part of the reason that he is out because they didn't want him there anymore.
I can't
and they're going to break their contract.
That's fascinating. Who's the money man at Penn State, though? This is a name you've heard.
LeVar?
No.
Arrington?
No, it's not him. No. Money man. Not, I made a nice little living in the NFL. I'm talking about I got screw you money. I got my name on a building money. Like David Booth is the money man at KU, right?
Yeah.
We all know that. We know like who the money men are at a lot of the big schools. You know who the money man is at Penn State?
I do not.
A gentleman named Terry Pagula.
Oh, okay.
Yes. You know that name. He owns the Bills.
Yep.
He owns the Buffalo Sabres. Ask Sabres fans how they feel about that. He doesn't own, but his daughter is a very successful tennis player that he never goes to watch play, weirdly enough. Anyway, Terry Pagula is the money man. The ice arena. They started a hockey program at Penn State. They're in the Big Ten. The ice arena at Penn State has his name on it. He's got name on the side of the building money. I got to imagine they had him on the horn as soon as that game went final against Northwestern and said, all right, we need $49 million. Ain't no easy way to ask. How much of this can you take care of? But it's just amazing that you can light $49 million. Like James Franklin is a good college football coach. He may not be a great one. He may not be one you can win a national championship with. We were also saying that about Ryan Day a month before he won a national championship.
Yeah.
So they have decided at Penn State, they're going to take that $49 million. They're going to light it on fire. They're going to give James Franklin $49 million. What happens if the next guy they hire isn't any good? Can you afford another chunk of change that big? Because what normally happens is when you're paying a bunch of coaches at once, if you have to fire a second coach in succession, You know what that does to your third hire? Ask Kansas. When they had to pay Turner Gill and Charlie Weiss at the same time, and they were still paying Lou Perkins to go away from his time in the AD, they had David Beatty money, and that was it. They had enough money for David Beatty. They had to go shopping at the 99-cent store for coaches, and they came up with David Beatty. You fire a coach, a good coach, that's fine, because I'm not here to tell Penn State what kind of program they ought to have, or what their top end should be as a program, if they should be happy with James Franklin winning 10 games a year, or if they should aspire to something more. That's not for me to say. But I do know this. You can't screw up this next hire, because you can't run him out of town when the buyout is that steep.
Yeah.
So I don't know who it's going to be. Obviously, the two rumored names are going to be guys with Pennsylvania ties. Matt Rule, who played at Penn State for Joe Paterno, and Kurt Signetti, who's from the state of Pennsylvania. You're going to hear those two guys as the major people who are rumored. Nebraska's got money, man. They could pony up and keep Rule around. I don't know who IU's money man is.
I don't know either, but I want to put this out there in the ether just so when it happens, if it happens, I can be correct. James Franklin is either going to do three things: sit at home, play golf on his $49 million payout, be the head coach of Virginia Tech, or go to the NFL.
Interesting.
That's my thoughts.
I would not hire that guy if I were an NFL team. There is a job opening in the NFL. We're going to get to that in a second. Real quick, though, wrapping up our college football headlines from the weekend. The new AP Top 25 has Ohio State number 1 with a bullet. They are 6-0, number 1 in the country. Once again, 50 of the 66 first-place votes. Miami remains number 2. Indiana receiving first-place votes in the AP Top 25 football poll. I did not think I would live to see that. They are number 3 in the country. Texas A&M and Ole Miss round out the top 5. Alabama, we wrote them off after they lost to Florida State week 1. Nah, man, they're still awesome. Alabama, Texas Tech, Oregon, Georgia, LSU, 6 through 10. Not only is Alabama awesome, Ty Simpson is, I think, your betting favorite now for the Heisman. And that's not just because he's the Alabama quarterback. I've watched him. He's good, man. I like the way the ball comes out of his hand. 11 through 15, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, and BYU, second highest ranked Big 12 team. Missouri, Vanderbilt, Virginia, South Florida, and USC round out the top 20. USC one of 5 newcomers this week to the top 25. Texas back into the poll at number 21. Memphis at 22. Then 3 newcomers, Utah, Cincinnati, and Nebraska. Cincinnati first time into the top 25. So that makes 4 Big 12 teams: Texas Tech, BYU, Utah, and Cincinnati. Also very funny, Cincinnati's ranked ahead of Nebraska because they played each other and Nebraska won. Nebraska fans not taking that well. Anyway, those are your college football headlines. Spencer, what you got?
Yes, we're going to go to the NFL.
Do it.
All right. The Titans have fired Brian Callahan after a 1-5 start. Boy, oh boy, is this trouble in Tennessee for a rookie quarterback that they drafted number 1 overall.
So they fired the GM because he couldn't work with Vrabel. Then they fired Vrabel. Then they fired the GM. Then they fired the next their head coach.
Yeah.
That's not a sign of a very functional organization. Callahan's goose was cooked as soon as he admitted that he didn't know that what the catch rule was. Week 1 or 2 this year. As soon as I saw that, I said, "Oh, he's done in that town." It ain't if, it's when. I can't believe he was the first. I thought it was going to be Mike McDaniel. I thought that was going to happen today.
Yeah,
I am stunned. It was Callahan before McDaniel.
I will say this: I believe is he the assistant GM? Borgonzi, Mike Borgonzi.
Yeah, he is in Miami. Yeah, or no, Tennessee. Yeah. Mike Borgonzi. Yeah.
There might be some conversations had with 2 coordinators.
Tennessee Titans head coach Matt Nagy. The people are asking.
Or Tennessee Titans head coach Steve Spagnuolo, but probably Nagy, because you'd want somebody to work with a quarterback that wouldn't get poached.
Yeah.
But also Cliff Kingsbury name might be in there.
Interesting. Anyway, yeah. So there's that. What else you got from the NFL today?
Anthony Richardson, Charvarius Ward, they suffer freak injuries before the Colts win over the Cardinals, where they ran into each other on the field.
No.
Oh, no.
It was 2 separate things. Ward ran into a teammate. Like, he was going through drills, like running routes, doing reps. and he's smacked into a teammate and concussed himself. Anthony Richardson fractured his orbital bone when a resistance band snapped and hit him in the eye.
That's crazy.
That is horrifying.
And also, he's been put on the IR at least 4 weeks. 49ers linebacker Fred Warner lost for the season with a broken and dislocated ankle. I had that game on yesterday. It was just brutal to see him carted off.
I hate it, man.
Yeah.
Great players, like the best of the best in the league, when they get hurt, like Aiden Hutchinson hurt last year, that was just bad for the league. And Fred Warner has been the best linebacker in the league going on about half a decade now, and him not being out there stinks. And I know that, like, I root for a team in the NFC West. It should theoretically make it easier for them in the NFC West because everybody for the 49ers is hurt, though it sounds like they may get George Kittle back this coming Sunday, so maybe a step toward getting slightly healthier. But I don't know what that defense looks like without Fred Warner. I just don't think it looks very good. So yeah, that was a bummer to hear that today. Let's give you the AP men's basketball top 25. That's right. We have a preseason AP men's basketball top 25. And Kansas slots in lower in the preseason poll than they have since 2008. They are ranked number 19 in the first poll of the season. Purdue is number 1. First time the Boilers have ever been the preseason number 1, receiving 35 of the 61 first place votes. Houston ranked number 2 in the country with 16 first place votes, followed by defending champions Florida at number 3 with 8 first place votes, UConn at number 4 with 2 first place votes, and St. John's rounding out the top 5. Duke, Michigan, BYU, Kentucky, and Texas Tech round out the top 10. So that's 3 Big 12 teams in the top 10. 11 through 15, Louisville, UCLA, Arizona, Arkansas, Alabama. Arizona makes 4 Big 12 teams. 16, Iowa State, 5 Big 12 teams. Illinois 17th, Tennessee 18th, then Kansas, and Auburn at number 20. The bottom 5 in the top 25, Gonzaga, Michigan State, Creighton, Wisconsin, and North Carolina. K-State in among the teams also receiving votes. That raised my eyebrow a little bit, but some good vibes coming out of Manhattan with this bunch. And they've got an All-American in P.J. Haggerty. So there you have it. KU 19th in the preseason AP top 25. Let's sprint through a couple of things. We don't really have much to stretch our legs on before we get to a playoff roundup. Winner's circle, if you will. Denny Hamlin finds a winner's circle in the NASCAR Cup Series, taking the checkered flag in Las Vegas. His 60th career win locks him into the race for the championship coming up on November 2nd. And Topeka's pro hockey team,
let's go,
undefeated. The Scarecrows are 2-0. They beat the Sentinels of Indiana 6-1 and 6-4, looking like tennis scores in their first 2 games of the FPHL regular season. Scarecrows score a combined 12 goals in their 2 wins on the weekend. Their home opener Friday night at the Stormont Vale Event Center as they welcome in Biloxi.
They'll play them Saturday as well. I'll be in the building for that one.
Going on Saturday? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, gonna be fun for sure. Scarecrows coming out playing some high octane hockey with a pair of wins to start their season. Now let's do a playoff round.
One more thing.
Wrong button.
Conclusion.
That's all right. It happens.
It's time for the 580 Sports Talk Playoff Roundup.
They are in action in Toronto. They are in Game 5. They are tied at 3-3, the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Last night, the Mariners struck the first blow in this best-of-7 ALCS following their dramatic 15th inning win in Game 5 of their division series against Detroit on Friday night. The Mariners beat the Blue Jays 3-1. Blue Jays homered on the first pitch of the game and got 1 hit the rest of the night. That is not how you win baseball games. Mariners won that game, and they are tied at 3 in this one. Both teams doing a lot of scoring early on. And the Mariners have the go-ahead run at second to lead off the top of the 5th, but an errant throw into the Mariners dugout struck their third baseman, Eugenio Suarez, in the back, and they had to stop play to make sure he was okay. Anyway, they're in the top of the 5th. 3-3 between Seattle and Toronto. Later tonight, Game 1 of the National League Championship Series between the Brewers and the Dodgers. I got the Dodgers in that one. It might go the distance, but I got the Dodgers in that one. Anyway, that is your playoff roundup. Those are your 580 Sports Talk headlines. We'll take a break. We'll talk some more NFL after this on 580 Sports Talk. .534 on 580 Sports Talk. Two more games tonight to wrap up week number 6 of the NFL season. Again, we're going to have one for you right here on 580 WIBW FM 104.9. Following Chiefs Kingdom, we'll bring you Westwood One's coverage of the Washington Commanders and the Chicago Bears. Other game tonight, Buffalo at Atlanta. They're chanting MVP for Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. Let's start there. That was the America's game of the week, I guess you would call it, the late game that most of America got to see yesterday. Tampa Bay beating San Francisco 30-19. They weren't doing a ton on offense before Fred Warner got hurt for San Francisco. I think those things are probably related, but Baker Mayfield is down to just brass tacks on offense. And they keep getting it done. They did not have Bucky Irving. Emeka Egbuka got hurt, only had 2 catches. They're already without Chris Godwin. He hasn't played all season. Mike Evans has been out. They're down offensive linemen. And it hasn't mattered. Baker's scrambling for his life. That 15-yard scramble on 3rd and 14 that kept the drive alive. The very next play, he throws a 45-yard dart to Tez Johnson.
Shout out Tez Johnson stepping up.
Yeah. The clip is so funny. Tez Johnson on the sideline thought they were chanting MVP for him. And his teammates had to break it to him that actually, nah, man, they're chanting because you caught the ball from Baker Mayfield. Baker, 17-23 for 256 and 2 touchdowns. I've already staked my claim. Like, I'm on the Mahomes as the MVP corner. But Mayfield right now, I think, I'm flipping over to Prairie Band Sportsbook, check their live odds. Right now, Mayfield is plus 425 to win the MVP. He's the third favorite. Josh Allen plus 150, Patrick Mahomes plus 275. But yeah, like, Baker's in the conversation, and that's an amazing thing to say about a guy who, again, has had no continuity. Play caller, lost Liam Cohen again, so he's working with another offensive coordinator who's brand new. Offensive line's in tatters, receiving core is in tatters. He was without his best running back yesterday against San Francisco, came in playing good ball, and it just didn't matter. Hey, all the respect in the world for what Baker Mayfield's doing. And it goes to show you, man, structure is so important. You put a good culture around a quarterback. You give a quarterback a chance. Never really gave him a chance in Cleveland. It's so dysfunctional in Cleveland. It has been pretty much for the entire history of the second iteration of the Browns.
Yeah.
It was a broken structure that he went into in Carolina. That never had a prayer. Built some things around him in Tampa Bay. Gave him the freedom to be himself, and they're getting the best football of his career. He's out there slinging it. All the respect in the world of that.
I mean, if you look at just his statistical numbers, not his, like Brendan likes to go into deep into the analytical numbers. He's thrown 12 touchdowns so far. Do you know how many interceptions he's thrown?
Would it be like one, maybe two?
One.
Wow. And that's Baker's whole thing, right? Like,
yeah.
Even when it's going good for Baker Mayfield, you're always waiting for it to go bad. Like, he's always going to be that guy who he's going to throw you one, right?
Yeah, and we're nearly halfway through the season. We're 6 games in.
Uh-huh.
He's not going to have the number of touchdowns he had last year unless he just goes off when his guys get back. He had 41 touchdowns last year, but 16 picks.
Yeah.
I think he maybe does 30 touchdowns, 5 picks, maybe.
Yeah, you put up numbers like that, you're definitely going to be in the MVP Offensive Player of the Year conversation. There's no question about that. Again, a lot of credit to him. So maybe he's the 6-week MVP. You know what quarterback leads the NFL? You're talking about the nerd numbers. You want a nerd number? How about success rate? Success rate is a nerd number. You know what quarterback has the best success rate in the NFL through 6 weeks?
Is he at One Arrowhead Drive right now?
No.
Oh.
It's Drake May. Drake May is good. Look, I am all for this as a fan of the NFL. The league is only as good as its quarterbacks. I think I've said that a dozen times. The league is only as good as the guys who suit up and play quarterback. If Drake May's good, and I know New Orleans stinks, but he was 18-26 yesterday, 261 and 3 touchdowns. He's got Kayshon Boutte, who we all thought was a bust, looking like a guy. 5 for 93, 2 touchdowns. He also rushed for 28 yards. He was his team's leading rusher. That's typically not great. But, like, if Drake May is good, that's good for the league. And even, I know people have been tired of the Patriots, and here they come again. Here come the Patriots. They're 4-2. One of us on the show predicted they would be a playoff team. Doesn't matter who, but it was me. And they've got a very manageable schedule ahead of them. Like, they might end up a serious threat to the Bills in the AFC East. We had assumed all year they weren't going to have a serious threat. They could sleepwalk to the AFC East title. The Patriots are at the Titans next week. Mike Vrabel's going to run it up if he can on his ex-employer. Then they have the Browns at home. That's winnable. Then they have the Falcons at home. That's winnable. They could be staring at 7-2 going to Tampa Bay. Then after that, they have
6-3 still is great.
Yeah, and then they've got the Jets and the Bengals after that. Like, this is a playoff team. And if May is good, that's good for the league. So he's been really good. You know who else has been awesome, but it doesn't matter because his team can't win any games? Dak Prescott.
Well, he's always good, though. When he plays during the season, he puts up statistical crazy numbers.
And he's doing it again without his best guy, CeeDee Lamb,
who's
has been out.
Be back this week.
They're hoping to have him back next week. George Pickens went nuts yesterday, 9 for 168. Dak was 25 at 34 for 261, 3 touchdowns. They lost to the Panthers. Shout out Bryce Young, 3 TDs for him.
Shout out to the Meow Mix podcast who quit podcasting because they couldn't go through the misery anymore. And ever since they announced their quitting of their podcast that took up too much time from their lives, the Panthers are 2-0.
That is very funny.
Yeah.
Rico Dowdle the breakout star of the season,
Redemption.
had 30
right?
carries for 183 against his former team. That's a lot of carries. You don't see guys get 30 carries in a game anymore.
No.
And
it's like grinder status, man.
yeah, shout out to Rico Dowdle. 5'11", 215. So. And Chuba who? Chuba better be lucky he still got a locker. It's Rico Dowdle's team now. That dude is playing off his gourd for the Panthers, who are a surprising 3-3. No else having a good year at quarterback. Sam Darnold. Let's go back to the nerd numbers. You're familiar. We've used the reference often enough. DVOA. Football Outsiders came up with it like a decade plus ago. It's a metric of team quality, essentially. The best way to describe DVOA to you is an evaluation of a team or a player. It takes every play during the NFL season and compares each one to a league average baseline based on situation. So that's what DVOA is. According to DVOA, the best team in the NFL right this second is the Seattle Seahawks. And look, you would think your resident Seahawks fan on the program would be a little bit more chest out talking about this, right? They beat the Jaguars on Sunday, 20-12. They went to Jacksonville, did what the Chiefs could not, and won in Jacksonville. Sam Darnold threw for 295 and 2 touchdowns on just 16 completions. They had 2 61-yard completions in the game. One to a tight end, A.J. Barner, and one to Jackson Smith-Njigba, who, if I'm going to put my chest out about any Seahawk, it's that guy. He's playing like the best receiver in football right now. What can you get him for Offensive Player of the Year? Plus 450 at Prairie Band? I might think about that. Defensively, they shut down the Jags. They limited Jacksonville to just 3.1 yards per carry as a team. Seattle's 4-2. The Rams are also 4-2. The 49ers are 4-2, but they're a mash unit. Seattle absolutely looks like a playoff team in the NFC right now. And I'm going to have to perhaps reevaluate my long-held stance on Sam. Well, no, I still don't think he's a guy who's going to win you anything when it matters. Yeah. But as like a regular season quarterback, I think he's at least proven that he's not just a Kevin O'Connell creation. I think we can say that. I think we can say that, yes, there are different scenarios, situations in which he can thrive because he's in a totally different offense and he is thriving this year. And the Seahawks are 4-2, and they lead the league in DVOA, and I should be happier about that. I should let myself be happy. Spencer's right.
It's hard to.
Well, I don't think the Rams are
with a team that's
yeah. Well, maybe they're not. Like that's just it. The numbers are telling me Seattle's better than So we'll see. One last thought on the NFL. The Broncos won. They beat the Jets 13-11 in London on Sunday morning. I hope you didn't wake up early for it. Justin Fields was 9 for 17 with 45 yards passing and took
how is he still in the
9 sacks for 55 yards. And after the game and today, when reporters asked Aaron Glenn about making a quarterback change, he acted as though the very idea of such a thing was completely beyond the pale, which tells me all I need to know about Aaron Glenn's tenure as the head coach of the New York Jets. It will be over very soon. You can't stand behind that. If they played Tyrod Taylor in that game, they would have won, probably by 2 touchdowns. Because the Broncos, they can't move the ball. Man, like J.K. Dobbins is fool's gold. Bo Nix is who he is. It's a ceiling on that offense. Like if they'd have had a competent quarterback, just somebody who could make a throw, they win that game. Justin Fields, plainly not that guy. And for Aaron Glenn to act insulted that you would ask him to change quarterback, it's nuts to me.
What gets me here is that he said, and I paraphrase, well, it's just one bad game.
It's a career. When has he ever been good? When has Justin Fields ever had a good game?
Look, I don't know, but he has 4 total touchdown passes on the season.
He does. He hasn't thrown a pick. You got that going for him.
No, but he's now thrown in 2 games under 50 yards each game.
Yeah.
27 against the Bills and 45 on Sunday.
They have it with a net of negative 10 passing yards.
How is that acceptable?
It can't be. It can't be. You can't go back into your locker room and say, yeah, we're sticking with that guy at quarterback. There's 52 other guys busted their butts and played well enough to win that game. And you're going to insult them and say that's going to be the quarterback?
What Tua said the other day, I don't know or did you see what he said after the game?
Yes.
I wish somebody that was happening with the Jets and one of the leaders in the locker room said that, because that's what I would do, is not as players, not show up to players only meetings if that's the guy leading the team and he has the coach who's the defensive minded coach behind him.
Yeah. No, I see your point. We're going to take a timeout. Some final Chiefs thoughts on the other side of this break on 580 Sports Talk. Coming towards the close of this Victory Monday edition of 580 Sports Talk. We mentioned this on the instant reaction last night. We correctly identified, collectively, the group, the keys to the game, what was going to be important for the Chiefs to win against the Lions last night. Fourth down was the ball game in many ways. The Chiefs went 2 for 3 on fourth down. All of them in the opening half. They didn't go for it on another fourth down. They went 2 for 3 and scored a touchdown on that 4th and 3 inside the 10 on their opening drive. The Lions were 0 for 2 on fourth down. And really, they were 0 for 3 when you count the screw up on that play that they ran that was a touchdown, but it wasn't a legal play.
Yeah.
But they missed the pass to St. Brown. And they also had the fourth down at the very end of the game, but the game was decided by then. But they were really 0 for 3 on fourth down. When you play the Lions, when you play a great team, you have to be aggressive on fourth down because you know they're going to be aggressive on fourth down. And the Chiefs outdid them on fourth down. And I thought that was a massive part of the game. Chiefs ran the ball effectively. We're seeing a lot more two tight end sets. We're seeing a lot more under center run from the Chiefs. Chiefs average close to 5 yards per carry on 12 under center runs. So they found something that works, that they like, that they're comfortable with, and just wait until those start being play action deep shots, because they are going to be play action deep shots as the Chiefs continue to establish that they can run out of that. That was one of your keys, Spencer, that they needed to do that. You also they got to play more Noel Williams. They played him more and more as the game went on. He had 3 catches for a total of 11 yards. I thought, it was a slow start to the game for the defense. And we talked a lot about the offense today. And the offense gets the headlines, and the Chiefs offense is fun again, and they're explosive again. And now they get Rashee Rice back, officially activated by the Chiefs earlier this afternoon. Jason Brownlee, we hardly knew you. He was released to make room on the 53-man roster.
He'll be back on the practice squad, I bet.
That'd be nice. Hopefully we'll see him again. But much as we talked about the offense, the Chiefs' base defense was, I thought, mostly very good against the run. They kept a lid on the Lions, didn't let them hit for, I think their longest offensive play of the night was 26 yards. And I think their longest run was 15. You keep a lid on an offense like that, you make them drive the ball. The more plays you make a team run to get to the end zone, the more apt they are to make a mistake. And the critical mistake in the game was that drop fourth down pass by St. Brown. But it was dropped because it wasn't where it was supposed to be, because of the pass rush pressure. And because Amon-Ra St. Brown had Noel Williams on his hip in coverage. So we can't get out of here today without giving a call to that defense. And those guys, I thought, deserve every bit as much credit. And we saw a team in really good form last night, and picking up as good a win as we've seen any team pick up, I think, just in terms of style points and in terms of quality of opponent beaten. I think that's as good a win as anybody in the NFL has all season.
Exactly.
We'll give you a final word next here on 580 Sports Talk to wrap things up. Let's put a bow on 580 Sports Talk for tonight. Spencer Dupuis, give me a final word.
Yeah, it was great to see the Chiefs play an all-around fun game to watch and keep people interested. And there were very few times during this game where you go on social media and see the overall narrative of, oh, the Chiefs are boring. Oh, the Chiefs are getting all the calls. And it was pretty good to see because, I mean, the Chiefs were playing excellent football. I mean, what more can you ask from Patrick Mahomes? 22 for 30, 257 yards, 3 touchdown passes. He had one on the ground. The running game got going. You saw Pacheco bring the energy. Kelsey got going, and the defense just came to play this week. And Chris Jones will not get the credit he deserves for what he did on that field yet last night. He basically he moved guys around, and he was part of the reason, a big part of the reason they won, but it doesn't really show up in the stat sheet.
Yeah, Chris Jones does deserve a lot of credit. We talked about that. Matt Verderam mentioned that, and he didn't get the sack on that third down that all but sealed the game, but he forced the sack because he forced Jared Goff into Charles Omenihu. Yeah, it was a super game for Chris Jones, and walking the walk after saying, I'll be better following the Jacksonville game. Yeah, he certainly was. I'll do a quick final word, and once again, shout out Topeka's own Des Purnell, Defensive Player of the Week in the Big 12 Conference, 2 interceptions, including a pick 6. Somebody stepping forward and making winning plays for Kansas State. I knew all along the culture of that program, the pride in that program was too strong for them to end up with a truly disastrous season. I don't know if they can salvage bowl eligibility. That's still an uphill climb at 3-4. But I know after watching them on Saturday, they're going to get everything they got to get there. Chiefs Kingdom is next. We're back tomorrow from 3 until 6. For Spencer, I'm Dan. This is 580 Sports Talk. Good night.